Hello everyone and welcome to Vlada's Place. In this video, I'm going to share a recipe for Plazma Torta. This is a traditional Serbian cake. We're going to start by creating the base for the cake, which is made out of 3 eggs, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and 3 tablespoons of flour. After whipping egg whites really well, add 3 tablespoons of sugar and 3 egg yolks. Once it's well whipped, reduce the speed, and now we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. When finished, your cake mix should have fluffy and creamy consistency like this. We'll bake it on 350 in a well-oiled and flour pan. While cake is baking, we're going to whip 12 tablespoons of butter. To butter, we're going to add a cup of pounded sugar. Whip it good until it becomes nice and fluffy. Next is vanilla, and we're going to add a teaspoon. Real vanilla is always the best. While butter, sugar, and vanilla are mixing, we're going to separate 6 eggs. Normally, when I make this cake, I double the measurements, but the half-size cake is still plenty big. As you can see here, I'm now adding egg yolks to the butter. The cake should be done, and by the way, I love my old stove. It's like a little rocket. Baking should take about 15 minutes or until the middle part of a cake is nice and firm. Main ingredients in this cake are eggs and walnuts, but what brings flavor to both of these are fresh oranges. We're going to need about 1.5 cups of freshly squeezed orange juice. If you don't have fresh orange juice, you can use store-bought. These oranges are a bit sour, which will offset the sweetness of the cake. While we were making juice, our cake had a chance to cool off. So now let's just set it up on a tray where we will soak it up with 1/2 cup of the freshly squeezed orange juice. We can set this aside for now, and we'll go back to making the cake filling. The next 2 ingredients are ground graham crackers and ground walnuts. The reason this cake is called plasma cake is because in Serbia there was a particular graham cracker called plasma, and it was used in this particular recipe, giving this recipe its original and authentic flavor. Since it's hard to find this graham cracker here in US, I often use graham crackers. By the way, what you just saw me do is adding 2 cups of ground walnuts and 1 cup of ground graham crackers to the butter mixture. From this point, we're going to finish off this mixture by hand. We are slowly blending in first 1/2 cup of orange juice into the mixture. I like doing this part by hand simply to ensure that mixture is at the right consistency. As I continue to mix it and slowly add the orange juice, I'm also planning on adding 1 more cup of ground walnuts and 1/2 cup of ground graham crackers. And once this is mixed in, I'm gonna add the second 1/2 cup of orange juice. Once done, you should have a mixture that's of this consistency. Although it looks a little bit thin right now, once the cake settles, it's going to become nice and dense. It's absolutely delicious, but I do have to warn you that this mixture contains raw eggs, as you just saw. The next step is quite simple. We're just going to add this mixture on top of the cake and shape it. Once done, set the cake in the fridge, and then we're going to move on making the meringue. Firmly whip the remaining 6 egg whites. Add a half a cup of sugar only after the egg whites are really well whipped. And we're just going to let that continue to mix while we prepare the caramelized sugar. Using the stove top, we're going to slowly melt 1 cup of sugar. This can be a bit tricky process, so I would suggest that you work quickly to make sure the sugar continues to be liquid. And as you pour it into egg white mixture, do it slowly or thinly so that mixture is easily incorporated into egg whites. By the way, this makes an amazing meringue. Our cake is chilled, and now we're just gonna add this meringue on the top. It's entirely up to you if you want your meringue to be shaped to perfection or if you would like to have a little bit more of a free hand as I'm doing here. Typically, the cake is decorated with a little bit more of a ground walnuts and perhaps few walnut halves. One of the reasons why my kids love this cake is because I will allow them to have this cake even for breakfast. And I would do so because there are so many good ingredients inside. Besides sugar, basically everything else in this cake is good. It's packed with nutrients. So we have a lot of eggs in there. We have a good butter, a ton of walnuts, and freshly squeezed orange juice, which in some ways it makes it a perfect breakfast. It sounds kind of crazy, but in reality, this is a kind of cake I would allow my kids to have for breakfast. So here it is, Plazma Torta, which is one of the most loved cakes in Serbia. And that's it for today. We're gonna let the cake sit till tomorrow so all the ingredients and flavors come together, and tomorrow when my son arrives, we'll cut into it. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I love reviving and sharing these old, all-natural recipes with the rest of you. If you're a fan of the same, please consider joining my channel.